Hey gamers, Rick back here from Origins live at Origins Game Fair 2018. This is Game Trade Media. We got some bonus content. And by bonus content, meaning that we've got some really cool individuals here from Pine Box Entertainment. And they're going to tell us about Doomtown Reloaded. We've got Dave and Christine. So tell us a little bit about this.
Sure. So Doomtown, for those that are familiar with Deadlands, the role-playing system, this is the card game from the role-playing game. Essentially, the setting within that world. About 20 years ago, it was a collectible card game, and then came back in 2014 as an expandable card game that we are continuing. We're directly leaving off where AEG stopped. So all your cards are still legal. Everything still works and is compatible. We just wanted to continue the game, and in doing that, we did a Kickstarter for There Comes a Reckoning, which kind of introduces us into more of the Deadlands universe. So when the game before was isolated to the city of Gomorrah in California, now we're branching off into more of the Weird West. So this set represents a lot of that. And in the upcoming fiction, we're moving the game to Tombstone, which is where we have the art from Charles Urbach here representing the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday in that conflict with the Cowboys.
That's very cool. Now, I am a fan of Deadlands, and I will tell you guys out there watching, because it is a role-playing game, I love role-playing games. And I played a preacher in it, and it was so much fun. I was an alcoholic, as all preachers seem to be in Deadlands. So Doomtown Reloaded, There Comes a Reckoning is developed by you at Pine Box Entertainment, right? Produced by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. They're the ones that put it all together in the big box, right, or whatever?
Yes, and they also have Deadlands, the role-playing system.
But this is this available now at your local game store, or will
not
be soon?
yet. It'll be available at stores, retail for September, and we're the fulfillment before that. These are just ones we were able to get to show off at the show, and then we also had copies to use at events, so people didn't have to proxy the cards.
The fulfillment for Kickstarter, the people who backed on Kickstarter, will happen well before that.
Between now and then.
Yes.
Now, we want to do an unboxing, right? You guys want to show us what's all up inside there?
We do.
I want to see it.
Okay.
Because you want to know why I want to see it?
Why?
Because I'm your Huckleberry. Yeah, right? Doc Holliday references.
We actually, I'll have some references in the next set to show you. That's actually one of the cards.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yes. So good. So what do we get inside here?
So you get a storage unit to use for the existing cards that'll hold a full set being 4 of each of the existing cards. The styrofoam is a
bonus.
As a placer there. So speaking of Deadlands, we actually did a conversion booklet for some of the characters in the game. So, for instance, Wendy is one of the major characters from old Doomtown that came into the new Doomtown. And in the book, we have a fiction piece bringing us, kind of moving us towards Doomtown's future in talking about the past and the interaction with some of the older characters. Map of the Weird West, and then we go into the factions. For instance,
the dudes of
Ring,
Doomtown.
Ivor runs the circus as one of the major villains from Doomtown, and then as we move into the heroes, we get to the former sheriff, Wendy and Lucy, who are our major focal points for the fiction moving into Tombstone. And then we go into some of the other clans and factions, and a few of the drifters as well in the back, and some relics. So it's a good piece in showing that we're trying to bridge the gap of the card game with the role-playing game, to try to bring in both brands. Something we did at Worlds, that we had sessions for the card game and role-playing game, where the fiction from the role-playing game went into the card game. So
very cool.
So we have that. The rule book, which was updated. We try to make things more clear than the last revision. It's also a document online that we keep revised, in case things come up like erratas and things of that nature. But this is just the base book that explains, how to play. Uses a lot of the art from Deadlands and Doomtown in it. There's Wendy. And then we go into the dividers for the storage unit.
Nice.
So,
man, I'll say this: the artwork is phenomenal.
Yes.
So whoever you have commissioned to do this artwork.
Well, what was great about this set was it came out right after, or the development of it started after the Deadlands 20th anniversary book.
Okay.
Where they went back and colored a lot of the old black and white pieces.
Oh, okay.
So we got to use a lot of that for the set. And we'll continue that in the next set as well.
The art in Classic is phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you ever get to check it out, please do.
It's so good.
So the dividers include the different outfits: the Sloan Gang, Fourth Ring, Eagle Wardens, Morgan Cattle Company, and the 108 Righteous Bandits. Now these were the names that when the game first came back that were used, and we're bringing them more into generic archetypes.
Sure.
Because now that we're going more into the Weird West, the Sloan Gang is going to be outlaws to represent. It's not a singular gang. It's more of that theme.
Right.
Law Dog obviously can stay the same.
Right.
And then we have dividers for the drifters, which are the neutral characters. Anyone can run your actions, deeds, goods. So that basically you can split up the A lot of people like to do it by suit because the cards represent a poker deck.
Right.
So that's an easy way to divide into each category.
And one thing to note, too, is this is an expansion. You do need the core set game, right, to play this.
Yes, this is an expansion that requires a core deck.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. Or
base set.
Base set, yes.
And then in here we have, this is the pack that was kind of a bonus we did for the Kickstarter as part of the stretch goals, which are some cards that required errata that were kind of fixing some of the stuff from the game before.
Okay.
For instance, mugging had a change in its text. So we also did a promo for this for one of our event series, but wanted to make it more available for people that can't, that wasn't able to attend. No Turning Back was another one. So this pack represents a lot of the cards that were changed.
Okay.
On this end, we have a lot of previously released promos.
Right.
So some people just getting into the game, because the Kickstarter had a bundle element to it that people could get into it, but it's like, hey, here's a bunch of bonuses of cards that
and you're still
you may
using
want more
also
of.
a lot of the same artwork that you mentioned before is just taken from the 20th anniversary stuff for these
and
as well?
we do. There's a real good mix. There's the 20th anniversary stuff. There's other Deadlands products.
Okay.
The old Doomtown, and then in the next set we have some brand new pieces as well. So it's a good mix of the genres as far as we got some Deadlands artists and the Doomtown artists.
Okay, great.
And so this is a mix, and it's 4 each, so you get a complete set.
Okay.
You don't have to track down extra copies for your deck.
Very cool.
So that's this piece, and then is the brand new cards. So speaking of Classic, this was one of the ones. For anyone that remembers Doomtown Classic, that was 108 Chamber, I think was the name, or 37th Chamber.
37th Chamber. And now it's Wang Meng Wu.
Yes, that was Professor Paul Herbert did that. Charging Bear was one of the new cards. So this is for the Eagle Wardens faction.
Yeah, that looks so good.
And then we go into Law Dogs. Another thing we did that was great for this set is that we had name-a-card events previously that when the game ended, those players never got to see their cards. So we wanted to honor that with this set. So like Adrian Vallejo was one of the cards that there you go.
There we go.
One of the cards that a player who won an event had named.
Okay.
And actually we're doing that at Origins this week. On Saturday we're doing a name-a-card event.
That is so cool.
So players get to actually participate in the setting and everything by doing that. It's one of the things we're trying to do with the game.
That also helps build your community and give.
We're trying to focus on the participation aspect.
And they can take some ownership in it a little bit, and bragging rights.
Yeah.
It makes the game very personal.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So there's our new deeds. As you see, moving the game, the Oriental is from Tombstone. Hellstrom Plant represents Dr. Darius Hellstrom, one of his locations. So we're kind of going outside. This set was to show that, hey, we're going outside of Gomorrah. This is the art from Dodge City.
Okay.
And then here's the new goods, which is a mix of spells, gadgets, and guns. The Bloody Star represents one of the servitors from Deadlands that collects badges.
Right.
And this is our group of actions. Grim Servant of Death was one of the arts that came right out of the classic book of Stone. This was another card that you had one job was another one of the name of cards.
You had one job.
That was one of the name of card events.
All right,
Shanfan Showdown was an awesome unused art piece that we had found in some of the stuff that when the game had been unused. The flavor text on it is a nod to Westworld and the Great Maze in Deadlands.
Is that a good show or something?
Yeah.
People are really popular?
So that's the whole set. There's 4 of each card.
Okay.
Amongst everything. And the box itself, back to the storage of the box, will fit an existing, everything that's come out so far can fit in there. And then last, one of the things that was new to the game, when we first went to Pinnacle and talked about wanting to continue Doomtown, one of the big things they wanted us to do was put the servitors into the game.
Okay.
The servitors are the big nasty bads of the Weird West.
Okay.
They represent a hell on earth of the Reckoners, which are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Okay.
So Raven represents war, Darius Hellstone represents pestilence, Ezekiel Grimm represents famine, and Jasper Stone represents death.
Okay, I'm going to grab those up real quick.
So the way we wanted to do this was, we can't have these guys walking around as regular dudes because they would basically wipe out the rest of the characters. So we wanted to find a way that they could be represented in the game. So what we came up with was something that attached directly to your starting outfit card. So it gives you a penalty in that it'll cost you to use it. It kind of goes with the evil is a choice theme from Deadlands.
Right.
You're choosing to ally with evil, so it's going to have a drawback and then also have a benefit. So for instance, Stone costs you a couple bucks and gives you a drawback to your shooter, but gives you a little bonus. It helps with like a win condition for the game.
Okay.
For those that played Doomtown Classic, Darius Hellstrom was influenced by the old Collegium, which is also in Deadlands, in giving guys with gadgets control points, how you win the game. Okay. So we found what I thought was a great way of incorporating the servitors into Doomtown, without going too crazy. It's kind of you're representing them in your deck. Okay. And we do have some future plans. These are 4 bad guys, but we had a tournament for naming a legend, which is what we're calling these type of cards. Okay. And a player wanted named Doc Holliday. Of course. So Doc Holliday is going to be a legend.
That's going to be cool.
To be released.
In a future expansion.
Yes. Okay. Also included was a promotion we did with Millennium Blades, a card game about card games. Okay. So we have Doomtown cards that are actually put in for Millennium Blades. Nice. In the set.
That's very cool. That's a lot in one box.
And not in the box, just because it didn't fit. There is a playmat. All right. A little smaller than maybe this one, which I like for more portable when we're doing our social events. Sure. That is going to be a map of the Weird West. So it's going to be real similar to this, but also have the hand ranks on it. Oh, okay. Which is a good reference for the game since you're essentially playing poker and shootouts. Yeah. So a lot of times, I'll be playing and I know poker, but I'll have to start counting. Sure. Because I don't know if I don't have a reference out. So this will be great to just.
You'll see why that we need to put it on there because everyone needs to reference it.
Yeah. So it'll make sense later. It's a great addition to something that we could include as part of the package.
Very cool. Now, I think you guys want to show me how to play?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do
Absolutely.
that. Okay. So speaking of the hand ranks, I'm actually going to keep this out so we can both reference it.
All right.
You'll notice it's the same hand ranks as normal poker. Right. Except the dead man's hand which is the exact aces and eights with the jack. Right. Is the highest rank. Okay. So you can actually build a deck to get that high.
So while they're setting that up, I'm going to read you guys the flavor text on the back of this box. It's really cool. It says, "There comes a reckoning. Legends fight over an infamous town. Gomorrah, California has seen its share of rough times. Now venture forth from its rowdy saloons into the maze where rabid rants Hitchcock prowls. Or head to desert where Sheriff Eli Waters might just greet you from the wrong side of his 6-gun. There Comes a Reckoning is Pine Box Entertainment's first expansion for the acclaimed Doomtown Reloaded expandable card game. It introduces legends in the form of the 4 notorious and ornery servitors of the Reckoners in Deadlands. Evil is a choice. You can stand against them or beside them. Will you side with Raven and his bloodthirsty warband or face off against Jasper Stone, the hero killer? So much cool. I mean, that's some great flavor text. And I think I did it justice.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
So they're going to go ahead and set this up. You guys
know
can
what?
see
I'm being ridiculous. The
What's
hand
that?
ranks are on these boards that come in the base set.
Yes.
We don't even need this. Okay.
There we go.
So how do we want to set this up that I'm playing you? Should we go sideways?
Because we each have a board that we have to play on, right?
Yeah, we would be opposite this side. All right, but I can shift this way.
Yeah,
if
we can.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yes. Looks like we can still get So speaking of bad guys, good guys, we have Sloan Gang and Law Dogs.
I'm Law Dog.
Okay. I think we can still pull this off going this way. I'll explain these in a second, but that's your deck. The deck is 54 cards, exactly.
Okay.
Like a poker deck.
All right.
You can go to 52 without jokers, but the jokers help you in shootouts. There are decks that can be designed to not run jokers, but it's not common.
Okay.
All right. So the outfit card itself, each faction, each outfit has multiple options.
Okay.
These are 2 that were from the base set, and as you get more expansions and even in the upcoming sets, there's different options. So it's kind of like which flavor of Law Dogs do you want to play?
Sure. Kind
of. So you'll notice on your outfit we have a few different
some flavor text. Right over there.
Right there? Okay. So Law Dogs, for instance, has a noon boot. So you have your ability, your starting Ghost Rock, which is money, and your income, the production that it makes each day. Because we're essentially playing a day each time we're both taking actions.
Okay.
So you have 19 Ghost Rock, and then you can start with up to 5 starting dudes.
All right.
So we're each going to start with 4, just kind of show the game.
Okay.
Each character has a Ghost Rock cost.
Okay.
Some of them have an upkeep, which is how much you're going to pay each turn to keep them around.
Sure.
Because they cost money to keep your guys to do some work. Some of them have keywords. For instance, Mortimer here is a mad scientist.
Okay.
Some of them are...
That camera right there.
You had mentioned you played a preacher in Deadlands.
Yes.
There are preachers in this as well that cast miracles.
All right.
We don't have any in these decks, but that is a spell type for the game.
Okay.
To help represent Deadlands. Some of the keywords don't do something inherently, but trigger off of other words. So like deputy is one of them. Grifter. Each player can start with 1 grifter in play.
Okay.
It's they kind of help mulligans. So Travis has an ability to reset your hand.
Okay.
If you don't like them, if you don't like your cards. A couple of them do like a draw, a discard, but that's the option it gives you, and it's completely your player choice whether or not you want to do that. Other elements of the card are their value.
All right.
Obviously, you see the dudes are spades. So the poker value is represented kind of in the character. For instance, the sheriff is a king, and aces are low in this game. So these guys are kind of like low. Mortimer's a little higher.
Sure. And that's probably why he has that upkeep cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then we have bullets and influence.
Okay.
Influence allows you to control deeds, which is how you win the game.
All right.
Bullets is for shootouts. And then there's cards that affected otherwise as well.
All right.
Your stud is a bonus that allows you to draw extra cards.
Okay.
And the brass is the cards you can discard. It's almost, the way I try to explain it is, you think of it as playing poker when you ask the dealer how many cards you want.
Sure.
So it's more of a cycle where, so that would give you 1 card you can discard and draw.
Okay.
So we showed you your home, which is the choose a dude, boot your dudes with a total influence greater than the chosen dude's influence to raise that dude's bounty by 1.
Okay.
Bounty is a term in the game where you collect money off of taking out wanted dudes.
All right.
So that's the whole goal of the Law Dogs. You're trying to make money.
And you're wanted, right?
Yes, that's my
I'm
my
after
stick.
you.
So the Sloan Gang, the Outlaws, has an ability to boot your dude in town square, which is a space between us.
Okay.
If my dude's still there during sundown, which is the end of the day when we both pass, he can gain a Ghost Rock, or I can give him a control point if he doesn't have one. Control points are how we win the game.
Okay.
So the first thing we do is collect our money, our remaining stash. What we're going to use is these Ghost Rock tokens.
Okay.
They came in the premium wooden set, if you can still get a hold of one of those when the game first came back, and also in some of the organized play kits that are still going to be available through Pinnacle, a lot of the old ones.
All right.
And we're also working on some other ways. But basically, we have different ways to have fancy money in the game.
Okay.
You can use these as two or one, where we're going to make them all one to make it simple. So it looks like what we're going to do is we add up your costs and subtract it from the starting.
All right, so I have 15.
So you get 4. And what do I have over here? 5, 9, 11. Looks like I have 7 to start with.
Dang.
Yeah. So I have some rich outlaws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we shuffle up our decks.
I don't know if I like the sound of that.
Okay.
And you're not stacking it over there. You've been playing this a while, so I'm guessing you can probably do some really cool poker tricks, right?
I'm not that good at it.
No, not yet?
No.
Okay.
Would you like to cut, sir?
I would like to cut.
There you go. All right, you're
Would
good.
you?
No, you're
That's
fine.
right.
You're playing Law Dogs, so you got it.
Honorable
right.
Law Dogs.
Okay. So you can keep these up here if you want.
Okay.
So the first thing we do is draw a hand of 5 cards. Now I'm going to use this hand to kind of show you the other card types, because you know that the dudes are spades.
Okay.
Okay. So the diamonds are locations.
All right.
This one's called hustings. It has the control point of what it's worth, which is how we're trying to win the game.
Okay.
Its cost of Ghost Rock, and how much it's going to make you every turn. Okay. Now you can stop me from making my money by putting guys with influence on my locations.
Okay.
We compare influence to try to tie it. The winner goes to the defender.
Okay.
And if we shoot out over it, that's one of the elements of the game to win. Another card type is hearts. Do you have any hearts in your hands?
Does this go fish?
No.
No, I do not have any hearts in my hand.
Okay, hearts are attachments. We go through my bottom here to show you an example. For instance, a shotgun.
Draw from the bottom now.
That's right. Bottom deal.
Okay.
Shotgun is a cost.
All right.
Gives you a modifier, and also has a value on it. They attach to dudes and locations you control.
Okay.
You always control your home. You never control town square. And what I just mentioned about the influence, that's what you compare for controlling a location.
And so on the cards in your hand, if we want to put something into play, it's going to cost us that amount out of the money we have here.
Yes.
Well, that is horrible.
Yes.
Because I think I got every high card.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
I'll be just fine.
Actions are your clubs.
Okay.
And we'll go over those as they come up, because as we play back and forth, that'll be a part of the game to show you.
Okay.
Jokers are only useful for when we're playing poker in a shootout.
All right.
Or in low ball, which is the first phase we're about to go into.
Oh.
Which is another part of the game.
Okay.
So, after we draw a card, now, do you like your hand? Even though you're just starting playing, do you think you're going to like it?
I think I'm going to like this hand.
If you didn't like it, you've got Travis.
Right.
Which will boot. Basically, you turn sideways. It kind of locks them down for the turn. There's not a whole lot you can do after that. And then you would shuffle back in and draw a new 5.
Okay.
I don't have one of those fancy guys.
All
so
right.
I'm stuck with what I have here. So our first phase, gambling phase, we're each going to throw a money.
At what? In the center?
In the center.
All right, then. Wait, whoa.
This is a first place token. This
Okay.
came in our last series.
It's your ante up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're Annie.
yeah.
Oh, I'm anteing up.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
Okay. So then we're going to take the top 5 cards of our deck, and we're going to put it out here.
Our top 5 cards?
Top 5 cards of the deck.
Okay.
Okay. 3. And you're trying to make the lowest hand possible for low ball.
Low ball. That's what it's called. So think low ball. You want the lowest hand.
Right.
Okay. Oh, and you're cheating.
Crap.
Oh, you got a full house.
I do have a
so
full
I'm going
house.
to take your
Cheating
money.
full
Now,
house.
one of the things you'll notice about the game, you've got an illegal hand.
How about having an illegal hand?
Because you have 2 8 of hearts. You're not allowed to do that. So,
In a standard 52 deck,
Yeah.
you know, cards.
so
Well-
if I had a card to punish you
Hold
with,
on. my card trigger over here ain't working.
if I had a
This is-
card to punish you with, I would perhaps play it, and it would have an effect in the game.
Okay.
Because you're cheating. It's an element of the shootouts
Mhm.
where you're kind of gambling. Do they have something or not?
You call me a cheater?
Right.
Yes.
Now, jokers, when they come up in this sense,
Okay.
because they don't do anything in your hand,
Right.
they get removed and go to Boot Hill. Boot Hill is your ace pile.
Okay.
So I can make this whatever I want. So we'll make it an ace, and I'll have a pair of 5, so I'll win low ball. The rest of these cards get discarded, and when your deck goes out, you shuffle everything back in
Okay.
when you have to draw.
All right.
So I'm the first player. So this is the first player token. Being first player, it's called the winner for the turn. Means when we get into shootouts, I'll always have the first action.
Okay.
And action goes from there. So
So
now
you win the money.
win the
So
money.
now I'm down to just 3.
Down to just 3.
Yes.
But we collect our income now.
Oh, okay.
So you're getting 3 minus your upkeep. So you're getting 2.
What?
And I'm getting 2 as well. So I've got a lot of money to work with here.
And where did that come from here?
Yes, from your
Okay.
production.
All right.
Now, like the deeds I showed you,
Yes.
which is we're going to take turns playing cards, going back and forth. There's a very big chess element to the
Okay.
game. So I'm going to play Shane Engraved Security, which is going to cost me 2.
All right.
It gives me a production, and it's worth a control point. There's these chips right here.
Okay.
You can use chips to keep track of the game. Use red ones for influence and blue ones for control. So I've got 2 influence right now of my guys. You see Jake
Okay.
has a trait. At sundown, he has +2.
Okay.
So he's kind of help you not get knocked out so easily.
All right.
You're looking like you have 4 as well on your side. Now, the game's going to end when someone's in check, just like
Okay.
chess. Check is where one player has more control points and the other player has influence.
Okay.
So as we shoot out and knock out each other's guys, it'll reduce the influence on the board,
All right.
and that'll result in a winner.
All right.
So I made my first noon play. This is the noon
Okay.
phase. And now it's on you to make a noon
All
play.
right. Well, I'm
if
going to
you'd like.
spend 4
Okay.
to play the Pony Express.
Okay. Pony Express is a good one.
I like the fact that it allows me to get more income later.
Yes. And
Yes.
it has an awesome ability, which is to let you discard a card and
To
draw
a card. Yeah.
So now we're going to go back on my end, and as we are continuing to build our town, I'm going to put down. I'm going to get some backup. I'm going to get Ramiro. So Ramiro will cost me 3,
Okay.
and he costs me $1 every time I want to put him into a posse.
Okay.
If I don't pay it, he gets discarded. So he will
Alright.
give me another influence, but now I'm looking at another upkeep.
Now, because I only have 1 bit of money
Yes,
and I can't spend it,
correct.
does the effect of the Pony Express, can I do that now?
Yep. As a
Alright.
noon action, you can boot it.
All
Now
right.
it's for the controller boots it. So if I
Okay.
had said, rather than buy a guy, let's say I wanted to move a guy over there,
Sure.
I would have control of it.
Okay.
And I'll let you do your pony, and then I'm going to explain to you the movement.
Okay, so I want to discard this one
Yes,
because
'cause he's
super
very
expensive. Yeah,
Yes.
to see if
He's
I
a
can
late
draw some.
game guy.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So the way movement works, and this is probably the trickiest part of the game.
All right.
You can tell I'm not the best teacher at it, so we actually are currently doing Learn to Play contest with our community
Okay.
to make a video to help show the game. And one of the biggest things,
Through many different perspectives.
yes, is the movement element.
Okay.
So the way movement works is you don't have to boot if you are moving from your home to town square or your home to an adjacent location. Those are the or town square to an adjacent location.
Okay.
Unless you're running home.
Right.
So, for example, one play is I can move Ramiro there.
Okay.
Or I can move him there because it's adjacent to my home. And you build out the street going this way.
Okay.
So Ramiro could come to town. Or another thing you can do is boot to go straight to a location. So I could go straight to your Pony Express if I wanted to,
wow.
circumventing town square.
Okay.
Now, that's one of the big strategies in the game is having guys out to block that.
Right.
Because we call each other out as
Sure.
a noon action.
Okay.
Now, if I'm booted, it means a few things. It means I can't call you out there. I can't move. I'm stuck there. I can't attach goods.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I have to wait till sundown to unboot.
Okay.
Now, once there, let's say I even did that. Next turn, and I'm starting there, I'm basically stuck. Anywhere from here I go, I'm going to boot.
Okay.
So the only times you don't boot is town square and to an adjacent, or home to an adjacent location.
Okay.
Anytime you run home, you boot. If you refuse a call out, which we'll
Sure.
get to, you have an option, you can run home.
Okay.
And then there's other things that'll boot.
Sure.
Obviously, like that's a bootability. So that's been used
Mm-hmm.
for the turn. So you used your Pony Express. I am going to go ahead and move Clementine to the town square.
Okay.
Now, in town, you can call her out.
Mm.
You can leave her alone, but she's basically kind of there, kind of helping block my deed. Because
Right.
now, if you want to come over to me and try to
Right.
stop my production,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to boot straight there,
Right.
maybe come to town and risk that I might call you out.
Sure.
But right now, she's just kind of hanging out there. So
Okay.
she's not doing a whole lot.
All right. So,
So now it goes to you. It's a very much of a chess element.
sure.
going
So
back
for
and
me,
forth.
I'm thinking I want to move Mortimer to the Pony Express as a because that would be a defensive move.
Yes, but the only problem with doing that is
Yeah.
he's kind of stuck there now. So unless, because from here he will have to boot to go somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
but you're protecting it in case I go
right.
there.
That's
So it's a gamble. It's a
Yeah.
risk. But when we do fights, which
Yeah.
is the other big part about movement,
Mm-hmm.
is wherever the fight happens, dudes who are adjacent can join the fights by booting.
Okay.
So let's say, at some point in time, Philip's going to come out here to start some trouble.
Right. Because Philip is he's the worst.
Yes. So if Philip calls out Clementine, and
Right.
Clementine chooses to accept, you would form your posse.
Okay.
And guys adjacent, including Mortimer, can boot to leave the location and
Okay.
join the posse.
Join the posse. Okay.
So you're not in a bad spot because you're still adjacent to the current locations.
Okay.
To give you an idea, too, of other abilities with adjacent locations, the Shane and Graves makes a 2-stud gunslinger,
Okay.
which is the silver one.
Okay.
If you start a fight in there and they last in here or adjacent adjacent deed that'll last for the duration of the fight.
Okay.
The idea is that it's a security firm, so
Mhm.
it's bringing in some backup.
Right. Okay.
So you move in Mortimer. I'm going to do Clementine with the Sloan Gang ability. So we're going to boot the Sloan Gang outfit. It says boot your dude in the town square.
Okay.
That dude is still in the town square during the sundown phase. I can gain a ghost rock per other player, because there is a multiplayer element. We can
Okay.
have more people. Or they gain a control point. So I'm trying to ramp up my blue chips to go above
Okay.
your red chips. But Clementine is exposed in town square.
All right.
And if you are booted, you can't refuse a call out. Normally you could run home booted.
Sure.
But since we're putting her out there, see
Mhm.
if you want to go after her.
Well, I do because I want to see
You wanna
that
see
mechanic.
That? Okay.
All right. So in that, in any one of these with a bullet represents.
Yes,
Fighting.
the way fights work is you have one main character who
Mhm.
you'll declare after we take shootout actions,
All right.
who is your shooter. They're going to give you their full bullet bonus.
Okay.
Everybody else contributes to the fight with one of their amount.
Okay.
So, for instance,
Because I'm thinking
well,
Tommy.
nope, Tommy has one, so he's going to be backing
oh,
you up
so-
no matter what.
Okay.
Mortimer has two,
Yeah.
so he's a little stronger. What happens with the shootouts is you have a
Mhm.
base 5 cards at the top of your deck.
Okay.
The studs silver lets you go beyond that.
Okay.
You're going to draw those cards.
All right.
Then you're going to decide to discard and redraw.
Okay.
So that's going to come from your draw the brass bullets.
Right.
But you're only going to get the full amount on your shooter, and everyone else is one.
Okay.
So to give you some examples of what you can do,
Sure.
if you got into a fight with, say, these two, you'd have Travis shooting. So you draw 6 cards, your base 5, plus 1 for Tommy Stud.
Right.
And then you'd be able to cycle 2 of those cards. And it's only one cycle. You can't, I'm going to cycle one and then the other. But if Mortimer were in the fight, you could make him your shooter and go to 7. And if you back him up with Tommy, you're going to 8.
Okay.
If you went all in with your guys, you'd be cycling 2 more.
Okay.
Now, a couple things to look at is their traits. Tommy is really good. What Tommy says is, if you are legal and your opponent is cheating, you raise your draw rank by 2. But if I'm cheating, no matter what, you're going to raise by 1.
Okay.
So he's pretty good. Mortimer has an odd trait, which is if he's in your posse, which is your group in the fight, and you reveal an illegal draw hand, he goes home booted and drops to 0 influence. And if you have nobody in your posse, the shootout ends.
All right.
So there's a gamble with him. If you cheat, he goes away. You might not have him for the next round, and his influence goes down, which helps me win if I'm creating control points.
Okay.
Now, the opposite to Tommy, his counter is Barton Everest.
All right.
Barton says if I reveal a cheat in hand, I increase my draw hand by 1.
Okay.
So the problem is Tommy goes a little bit better because I cheat, I go up 1, but if you're legal, you go up 1 more. And what I mean by the hand ranks is when we draw our cards for the shootout, we're comparing our hand ranks.
Sure.
Which are on the board. So say a full house to a flush is a difference of 1.
Okay.
Which is equal to 1 casualty.
Okay.
Which means the losing side has to discard a dude, and you can do 2 casualties by acing.
All right.
So if you're up by 2, I'm going to have to take
so the larger gap between hands, the bigger the implication.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you were me, which individual do you bring to the fight?
Well,
in this scenario, then,
Travis.
I want to fight. I want to fight now.
Okay. Travis is good for testing the waters. Okay.
Okay.
The reason is what we call Travis. He's a bullet catcher.
All right.
Which is he's not costing you much. He's a 2 draw, 0 influence. There's a few other characters in the game like that. So you can take Travis out to town.
All right.
So now it's kind of my move to counter. Do I want to? Do I think you're going to start trouble?
Let him.
Or are you just gonna put Travis in?
Oh.
So in case I need a little bit of backup, I'm gonna have Ramiro, my new hired gun that I just got,
who is really just the meanest because he has that 3.
Yes, he has a 3 stud.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Yes, so he's up there.
Okay, and so I do want to bring someone else to this fight because I see Ramiro stepping out.
So you have 2 options. You can either start the fight now and boot in some guys to join, or start moving guys 1 by 1, which can be a better play because now you have guys that are unbooted that can still walk around and do things in the aftermath. But it also gives me a chance to counter
whatever
some of my guys.
Sure.
And that's really the chess element of the game. Like we could play actually a few turns of building up until someone's like, you know what, I'm ready to throw down.
Right.
So as someone who's ready to throw down, Travis is either going to start or bring in backup. So it's your decision.
So do you have to pay 1 ghost draw?
I will if he decides if he decides to fight.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, Travis he's basically just a mouthy kid.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, I'm not worried about you there, Ramiro. I'm here to fight. Pulls out a 6-shooter and ready to throw down.
Okay. So does
this
Travis?
This is how you're supposed to play. You're supposed to give a story with this. Perfect.
So does Travis want to call out Clementine, who cannot refuse?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Clementine, get off my streets.
Okay. So you're calling out Clementine.
Clementine, you broke my heart.
So now Clementine must accept. And the way you would do that is you can yell out, "I'm calling you out."
I just said that.
You did. So
Clementine, you broke my heart.
Now, does Travis want to bring in backup? You've got Mortimer, Philip, Tommy, you can get any mix of that crew. Because you're the one who started the fight,
yes,
you've got to decide first.
Sure. I have a feeling that, I think I want to bring in Mortimer.
Okay.
And he comes in booted, right?
He does.
Okay, and then...
and you have a control point here.
And do I also get Tommy? I can bring in as many of them in as I want.
You can go all in if you want.
I don't want to go all in. That's just crazy.
All right.
There we go.
So Philip's chilling at home, and I have Ramiro and Clementine. Now, because Ramiro's in town at the location of the fight, he doesn't have to boot the joint.
Right.
Anybody back here, they would have to boot the joint in.
Okay.
But Ramiro is going to stand up for Clementine's honor and by himself attempt to
take us out?
Yes.
What a fool.
So Ramiro has me pay 1 Ghost Rock so he can join the fight. And we have Clementine and Ramiro.
All right.
So,
Ramiro, you drank too much tequila.
Yes. So now we go to shootout actions.
Perfect.
Now I am the winner of lowball, so I have the first opportunity.
I don't think that's right, but I'll go with it.
I look at my hand of 3 cards and find that I have nothing
to
play. Now, is there any clubs or any other actions in your hand that you would like to play?
I do have something I think is pretty interesting.
Okay. What do we have?
I have Bounty Hunter.
Okay. Bounty Hunter is a noon action.
And so I can't play that.
Correct.
Thank
but
you.
I will show you how the Bounty Hunter
stuff that I do have.
Oh, well, that's really good if I cheat. And this is the coach up. And it's what you know is another cheat in resolution, which also helps hand ranks.
Okay.
So you've got a pretty good hand for when we go to compare ranks.
Okay.
But we don't have that much to do to each other.
Okay, perfect.
Now, I will show you the Bounty Hunter, though, just so that we know how it works. So the Law Dogs is all about booting guys to make guys wanted.
Right.
So what you would do is boot Philip or anybody that you want to boot to use that ability to put a bounty on one of my guys.
Okay.
Then as a noon action, boom, you play the Bounty Hunter. But it costs 2.
Okay.
So as poor as you are right now,
just ain't happening.
It ain't happening right now. But it may later.
Sure.
Which is why it's good you have Philip back.
Right.
Because Philip can still boot the dude.
Philip seems like a smart kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's a troublemaker.
Correct.
We already figured that out too.
So Philip also has a trait. If you're legal and I'm not, you can cycle a card out of your hand.
Okay.
Which is good. Like if you can't afford the Bounty Hunter, or like what you did with Mortimer with the Pony Express.
Okay.
Or with Wiley. Sorry.
All right.
All right, so now that we both passed, we don't have any actions to do.
Okay.
We're going to go to the shootout.
Perfect.
Now, we will declare our shooters. So Ramiro, at his beefing 3 stud, gives me 3 extra cards. So we're going to have the top 5 cards on my deck, and then another 3. Now, Clementine is the backup.
That's only 4 cards.
Oh, apologies.
There you go.
Yeah. And see, Honest Law Dogs helping out the Outlaws.
That is right. Honest Law Dog.
Is Clementine's going to allow me to cycle a card. Now, on your end, Mortimer is your best option.
Right.
So you're pretty much doing the same thing. You've got 5 base cards.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mortimer's giving you 2 more because he's shooting with his full stud bonus. Tommy's backing him up with his 1.
All right, so I got me
And
3.
if Tommy even was a 2, he would only give you 1 because he's the backup.
All right.
So we're going to take all our cards.
All right.
Each. And we're going to each have the option to discard 1 card. Reason is you have Travis with the draw as a backup, and I have Clementine. Even though she's a 0, it doesn't matter. It's just the type. Okay. So even the 0s can back you up. They're only nothing.
Just the idea of it being there equals 1.
Yes. All right. So, we are not looking. We are not looking too hot here. What have we got? Yes.
Just discarding 1.
So I'm going to discard 1 and redraw. And that was no help. I was looking on it. I was going on a straight flush draw, and it wasn't working out for me. Okay, and any of the cards not...
I think I got them, ladies and gentlemen. I think I got them.
Any of the cards you're not using, you put to the side, or they go in your discard. So now we show down and see what we have.
We need 5 cards in our hand, though.
Only 5, yeah. Anything over that...
You need to make a poker hand.
Anything over that, you discard.
At this time, you want to get the highest
And then it's up to you if you want to cheat or not. Because if you're cheating, I might have something for you.
So I'm going to get rid of these two.
Okay.
And
So I'm going to...
I still got one more I got to get rid of.
Okay.
And I'm torn here.
Okay.
Now, jokers can be anything.
Anything. They are never cheating.
They are never cheating.
Never cheating. They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 4 3s of different suits in a joker, you can have a legal 5 of a kind.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
Let's see.
All right. I have a cheating full house.
What?
Yes. Of 5s over 3s.
5s and 3s. Okay.
What do you have?
I have 4 of a kind.
Okay, and it's legal. Oh, you do show the 5th card.
And I have a 6.
So, that's not good for me.
Right.
For a couple reasons.
Because I'm badass.
Yes. You are not only 1 rank ahead of me with your full house, you were legal and have Tommy.
Yeah, because Tommy's awesome.
So you now go 2 more up to a 5 of a kind to my full house. Now, in addition to that, you won't have to play any of your cheating cards because I have to take so many casualties that both my guys are wiped out.
That's right, because, like I said, badass.
Yes. So now,
and you
as
get
I
to
was
save
saying,
those cheating resolutions for later. It's wonderful.
as I was saying earlier, 1 character gets discarded for 1 casualty, and 1 gets aced for 2 casualties.
Okay.
Now, if guys are acing in Boot Hill, they can't come back if you draw a later one.
Right.
So Ramiro, I would like to come back at some point if I get through my deck.
Okay.
So he's going to be a discard, and Clementine is going to be an ace, and she's going to be in Boot Hill.
She's out.
And that's going to drop my influence by 2.
Okay.
So, as I have, one side has no longer any members, the shootout ends, and you get to decide if you would like to keep anybody in town that was in this fight or send guys home.
Okay.
Then that is
do they go home
completely up to
bowed?
you. Booted.
Booted. I mean booted. I'm sorry.
They would go home booted. They would go home booted.
All right.
We're old L5R players, so sometimes
that makes sense.
The terminology.
I think based on my reaction here, I want to maintain a lawful street.
Okay.
So I'm going to just keep them there.
Sounds good.
All right.
And I have no one left to fight with, so I've used my ability. Allie could come out. Allie has an ability to boot to gain control points in town square.
Okay.
But that might be foolish because you've got a good control in the town right now. You called me out, so it's my action. And my action is going to be to buy the Hustings. Hustings has a trait on it. All dudes controlled by his controllers have -1 influence while unbooted at home.
Okay.
So the reason I'm playing this is it makes Philip -1 for using the Law Dog's ability. So it's basically forcing you to have him also come to town if you want to do that.
Okay.
So that's going to cost me my 4 and gives me another control point. Now you can take that and it reverses the trait. It hits my guys.
Okay.
But then I have a chance to come in and defend it.
Sounds good.
So temporarily you're at -1, which is good to have the chips because then you can kind of keep track as you go along. So it's your noon action.
All right. So we're back at noon, huh?
Yes. We will stay at noon until we both pass and go to sundown.
Well, I only have one token there, 1 coin, and I can't do anything with my hand.
Okay.
So do I just pass?
You could set up Philip for that bounty hunter for next turn.
Which is booting this.
The Law Dog. So what you would want to... Right. But since he's at 0 influence because of my Hustings, your first action would be to move him somewhere so he's not at home.
All right. So here.
Okay.
And then boot him.
Well, your first action is that, so you have to wait. So I'm going to pass.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and boot Philip.
All right.
And boot the Law Dog's ability to put a bounty on one of my guys. Now, who would you want to hit? You can hit Jake because he is...
Who looks like the meanest guy? The guy in the middle. Well, your 5 of spades.
Well, Barton is 1 influence. So you have to go above him.
Oh, okay.
So Jake is good to try to take out because he gives me 2 influence at sundown.
All right.
So to try to win the game, you want to knock him out.
Knock him out. Yeah, let's do that.
So we'll give him a bounty.
All right.
Now, another thing earlier about shootouts. Town is public.
Right.
So are locations like your Pony Express.
Okay.
And the Hustings. Private locations, like my Shane and Graves, if you come fight me there, your guys gain a bounty.
Oh, wow.
For joining the posse.
Well, that doesn't sound right. That's not
No.
law doggy.
So because you're invading my
right.
home.
Yeah.
It's the same thing if you do. There's action cards called jobs.
Okay.
And that's a little more advanced than
Sure.
the spell. So we're kind of just giving you the bare bones.
Okay.
Those would require you to become wanted if you go after people, especially in their home, because that's private.
Sure.
So you did the ability. I'm still passing.
All right. So I'm pretty much tapped out.
So you'd also be passing.
I would be passing,
okay?
yeah.
So what we do at sundown is we check to see if somebody won, which neither of us have won.
Okay.
And then we unboot all our cards.
Okay.
So everything straightens here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we each have an option to discard a card before drawing back to 5. Now I have a useless joker because they don't do anything in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to discard that joker and draw back up to 5. Okay. And now we go back to the lowball phase.
Okay.
Now I have no money.
Right.
I am broke. And another thing, when you take control of locations, you stop people from getting their money.
All right.
So I have to borrow one from the bank. And you have one you can throw in. So now we both, back to lowball, take the top 5 cards of our deck.
Okay.
And put that out.
Uh.
And what am I looking at here? I've got a cheatin' 2-pair. You've got a cheatin' 3 of a kind. Now, in lowball, you can even play your cheatin' punishment. So is there anything you want to play against me for cheating?
There is. I have the
coach whip. Okay. Now, because you're cheating as well, I get to choose to do the boots.
Okay.
So we're going to choose Allie because she doesn't have any big bullets or influence.
Okay.
And I don't have anything for you, and I had 2 pair your 3 of a kind, so I stay lowball winner. I have to pay my 1 back to the bank, and now we collect our income again.
All right.
So you're getting a little more this turn. You've got 5 minus your 1 upkeep. Also, you do have the option to discard your characters to not pay the upkeep. Definitely not worth it for Mortimer because he's sticking around for a while. I'm getting 3, 4, 6 minus my 1, so I'm getting 5. Okay, so on my first action, I'm going to go ahead and get a goods out.
Okay.
I'm going to make a horse come out into play. That's my Pinto. Pinto's going to cost me 2, and as a shootout ability, to move a dude into a posse.
Right.
Now, what's good about the Pinto is, I'm going to give it to Barton, if somebody else gets into a fight, I don't have to boot Barton to join in, and he can join from anywhere. So if we're fighting over here, he could cross the board.
Okay.
Horses kind of help in that chess game element, too. So that's my noon action. So now it's on you.
All right, so my noon action, I could now play Bounty Hunter.
You could.
And I will for 2.
Okay.
A 2-stud gunslinger token enters play at a wanted dude's location.
So you're going to spend your 2 rock, put a gunslinger out. I didn't bring a gunslinger token, but they are in the base set.
Okay.
Basically just looks like a ace of spades guy with two stud.
Okay.
So he's in my home. That bounty hunter.
All right.
Which means he's going to get a bounty because it's private. Which just seems odd, but you're coming and fighting me in my house.
Right.
So what the bounty hunter says is I cannot refuse. So Jake must fight the bounty hunter.
Okay.
Now, since your team is in town square, you are adjacent to my home. So you can boot any of your guys to join in on this fight.
All right.
Now, it puts me in a real bad position here because if I lose Jake, I've only got Barton left for influence.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got 1 control point, and I have 2 showing that you could take. But if you boot into my home, those guys might not be able to take my deeds. You could either wait a turn or kind of set up to just take one of them.
Okay.
So if you maybe wanted to keep back Philip, because he likes to do that, he could take a deed if I end up losing this to take control of the game.
So I would boot in.
So it's completely up to you who you want to boot in to join this fight.
All right. So I'm thinking that I want to boot in the other 3.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will do that.
So they're all in. We can just boot them to show in the town. And they're all going to gain a bounty.
Of course
so
they
this
are.
is really bad for me because you've got 4 guys to my possible 3 that can fight.
Mm-hmm.
And if Jake dies, it doesn't bode well for me trying to come back on this. But I know you have Philip, so I may want to save Barton to try to keep me in the game.
Okay.
If that's possible. So knowing my odds are pretty bad, Jake's going to fight on his own and see if Barton can save the day afterwards.
Okay.
So, Jake, as lowball winner, I have no action. And now it goes on you if you have an action.
And my action is
any actions
action
from
cards.
hand. Yeah, any club action or like I do have the option still to bring Barton into the fight with the Pinto. I believe. Does he have to move?
So I have
move this dude into a posse.
I have point blank.
Oh no, that's a resolution. That's like your that's not good for me.
Okay, right.
That's what happens when we compare the hand ranks.
Perfect.
Okay.
I like that it's not good for
me
you
at all. Okay.
All right.
So, Jake's gonna go down with that. I'm sure. So, Barton. Or no, I pass. So you would pass as well, unless you have something else. Okay.
So now we're back to our draw.
Back to our draw. Now you just declare a shooter.
Right.
It could be your bounty hunter because he's a 2, Mortimer because he's a 2. That's your best bet.
Okay. Then yes, I'll declare Mortimer as my shooter.
Okay. So now you're drawing. We go back to 4. You put your 5 out. Mortimer is giving you a 2 extra. Now you've got Tommy in the fight, so that's 1 more. And you've got a bounty hunter in the fight.
Which is 1 more.
So you should have 9 showing there.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. So you're going to draw those, and you've got Travis. So you've got 1 cycle still to use.
Okay.
Now I've got my Lonely Jake, which is just going to draw me 5, and I'm going to cycle 1 card. See if I can not cheat against you.
All right.
It's not looking good for poor Jake.
All right. And then I could cycle 1 card out, right?
1 card because you've got Travis in the fight.
So I'll do that, and that allows me to draw 1 more up?
Yep.
Right?
And now you're still looking to drop that to your best 5.
Everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we show. I could not cheat, so I have a cheating full house.
Oh, I know that.
No problem. Okay.
All right.
What have you got for me?
I have got a full house as well, not cheating.
So you are legal.
I'm
which
legal.
Means with Tommy, you've already got me beat.
Yeah.
Because he's going to go up a rank. So you're going to have to point blank.
I don't even have to point blank you.
So Jake is going to get ace, and you get that money because that's the bounty.
All right.
And since I'm out of guys, the shootout ends.
Okay.
Now, the bounty hunter goes away because he only lasts for the duration of the fight.
Okay.
And now it's up to you if you want to stay in my home or leave. There's really not a whole lot of point in staying in my home.
Right.
You can't call other people out in their home,
right.
which is what the bounty hunter is a card effect, though, so it lets you do that. But I could call you out.
All right.
So there's not a whole lot of point in sticking around.
So they all go back to...
Yeah, it's up to you. People could stay and go.
Sounds great.
And Philip's here. Now I'm in a real bad spot because I'm down to 1 influence. The hustings, because your guys are all booted, puts your influence back up. You're still fine.
Okay.
So now you're left with an option if you would like to have Philip try to save the day or not. You called me out, so I get an action. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make Philip not save the day.
Okay.
And I want to show you how a job works.
All right.
To go into some people at home. A job is an action to accomplish a goal.
Okay.
Okay? My goal is to kidnap Philip.
Dang it, Philip. We told you not to talk to strangers.
How I do that is I fill the requirements. Noon job boot.
All right.
So I boot a guy and I mark a dude. Your posse must have more total bullets than the marked dude. I have 2 bullets. The Philip's 1.
All right.
And I raise the bounty of each of my dudes in the posse by 1.
Okay.
If this job is successful, I discard the mark.
Okay.
Now, Philip is in a bad spot because all his backups home booted and can't join. So Philip has an option. Does he want to fight Barton, possibly die, or does he want to just go away and get discarded anyway?
Well, I think Philip is not a coward.
Okay.
And so Philip wants to fight.
All right.
He's like, he forgot his whistle, so he can't blow his whistle. I'm being kidnapped, so he's going to have to draw
Sounds
iron.
Good. So now we're going to have to draw.
All
you
right.
have any shootout actions for me?
I don't. I just have that one great resolution action.
So now you're going to draw 5. And since you have no studs, you're just doing one cycle. So you're going to look at your hand and take the best one. Now I have a 2 stud, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to back Barton up with, for his 2 stud, he gets to draw 2 extra. Okay.
Sweet.
So, what did Philip get on his 1 draw?
Well, Philip got a full house cheating.
Well, Barton got 3 7s, and I have no punishment for you.
Mm-hmm.
So Barton failed on his
That's right, because
magnificent attempt.
Philip's always got an eye out for y'all.
And as I have nothing else to play in my hand, at the end of the day, your 1 control point, even without Philip, is enough to win the game.
Sweet.
So essentially, that's how the shootout element helps advance the game.
Man, Philip is a bad
is.
dude.
He is a bad dude. So that's generally how the game is played.
Okay.
Now, had I not run the job, what would have happened is something probably similar, which is Philip wanting to take control of the game can go to the hustings, right? So to show you the kind of the chess element of it, my options are to try to go there and fight you, and I could go there. You could maybe boot to go here. You force me to go here. You could buy a dude and take a D.
Okay.
So there's little like elements of trickery in the game as well. Sometimes it's kind of a piece where you can get into a fight just to maneuver people to one side of the board while you have a backup plan to send others elsewhere.
That's awesome.
So the game takes a bit of learning to get into that movement element.
Right.
But that's what I love about it is it's essentially a board game.
Okay.
That is a card game.
Right.
And it plays a lot like chess.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's the basic Law Dogs Sloan gang. There's other ones, like I said, the Blessed have miracles they can cast.
Okay.
Mad scientists invent gadgets, and all of those elements except for the miracles are in the base set of the game.
Okay.
So you get to kind of learn the other parts of it. We just like using these 2 for the demos because then we don't get so much into casting spells. But it is a big part of the game.
That was a lot of fun. I'm glad I was able to take you out in the middle of town, shoot you down. It was a good time.
Is there anything about, do you have any questions about how anything worked, anything that you really didn't understand? Or
the booting aspect I think the time cycling was something that because I was like
how you get to the noon phase
and
all of that. Okay.
All right. So but after you showed me this I got it. It's like,
and I forgot to go over
stages.
the actions. Like this is a shootout, the Sun in Your Eyes, which is one of the best ones in the game, which turns one of my guys into a draw.
Okay.
So let's say I had one of these for your fight. I could have taken Mortimer to lose out, which means he wouldn't have given you that extra draw bonus.
Sure.
The cards like Point Blank that are really good is a resolution ability. Resolution is when we go to the point of the fight where we compare the hand ranks.
Okay.
So there's the action cards do different things. Some are noon actions that just do something in the noon phase. Like Lady Luck lets you discard extra card, or the Bounty Hunter.
Sure.
So the actions go to different phases of the game.
Yeah. Other than that, it wasn't a difficult catch. The information was there. And I think everybody that's watching this, if you guys have questions and you want to play this game, comment below. Let us know what your questions were. Maybe you guys can come back on and check the comments and
also look for the Learn to Play videos. The guys that we have doing that are a lot better teachers than I am.
Okay.
Some of them are school teachers. Different areas of life that could bring a lot to this. So that's why we made a contest so we can have a lot of information from the community. If there's something about the way I taught it that you might not get, one of those guys can kind of help fill in the blanks of that.
Absolutely.
And the boards help a lot too. They kind of help with the movement.
Oh yeah. If we were sitting, then I could have read more of what was over there.
Yeah, it kind of breaks down.
You gave great.
It breaks down the movement. Like some deeds are out of town, so you're not building in the town. You have to actually boot to go out there.
Yeah.
the majority of them work as we had
Very
it
cool.
set up.
And where now? Where can they all go to find more information about this as far as your website and
So pineboxentertainment.com and PEG.com. That's the Pinnacle website. There's a lot of links between the Pinebox one and the Pinnacle one.
Okay.
If you want to find stuff about the story, a lot of that's on the Pinnacle site. The rules, the forums, if you have any questions, are all on there.
Okay.
And the Pinnacle one gives a lot of news. Like in the weekly newsletter, if we have something updating with Doomtown, they'll have it there linking to our site.
Awesome.
So it's also where you can pre-order the new set.
Okay, great.
It's not up yet. It'll be out at a later date, but the next set, Too Tough to Die, which we have a little bit to show you now.
Okay.
Which kind of introduces some of the Tombstone elements.
Okay.
That'll be up for pre-order, and you can also order from the Pinnacle website.
Okay. And it also says here it's distributed by Studio 2 Publishing.
Yes, they're here at the convention
at
at Origins.
you can get it
They'll be at Gen Con, so we kind of have signs at both to say, hey, if you're at Doomtown, if you're at our table, go check out Studio 2 to purchase it, and from them to check it out. And we have promos and things at the booth too to give out. Another thing that's good for the game that we have at conventions is little tokens for modifiers. For instance, like if you played that Sun in Your Eyes, you could put one down. Bottle caps is something we're using to kind of
from the sarsaparilla bottles.
That. Yeah.
All right.
And we have card-specific ones, too.
Very cool.
For instance, I showed you the Sun in Your Eyes. This is a cap for the card.
Okay.
So as you play the card, it helps keep a reminder on the table.
That's cool.
And that's where the poker chips and the...
Like, if you bite your nails, they're actually easy. You can pick them up.
Mike?
Oh, I'm sorry. I noticed that, like, with him, if you bite your nails and you don't really have a lot of nails, they're easy to pick up because of the way they're shaped. So it really does help.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah, it's good because, like I said, it's more of a board game, so it's nice to have the little tokens that you can help mark the board and things like that.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Too Hard to Die. Is that what it is?
Too Tough to Die.
Too Tough to Die.
It's a take on both the nickname for Tombstone and also Doomtown itself that we were able to bring it back and whatnot. So this is the art that we had on the Urbach piece. It's not actually in the set, but it's in our current organized play series.
Nice.
So if anybody goes to one of the Tombstone series events, which we encourage people to go to, one of the things we're trying to do is make it more about participation. Make people realize it's not necessarily a competition, it's more of a community. So just showing up gets you a bunch of promos. So we put that in the set. It's one of the errata cards that's in the Kickstarter box, but this just has the cool art on it to do something different.
Very cool.
So one of the things we have other outfits just to show you. 108 Gracious Gifts. For organized play, there were 2 cards we had to ban so far. What we're trying to look more is for cards that might create a negative play experience. But if we're going to have to go that route, we want to make something to replace it.
Absolutely.
So this was one of the ones. This was for the 108 outfit.
Okay.
Kind of like you saw with the Law Dogs. They're all kind of set up the same way. We have 2 of those in the set because these two, the 108 and the Eagle Wardens, they came in later than the 4 base factions.
Okay.
So we're trying to catch them up to say, hey, you have all these outfit options for Law Dogs. Where's the ones for these guys? The art is really awesome. We managed to get at least on these 2 artists that did previous work for Doomtown. Brent Chumley, who's with us, did the Property is Theft, and Ramon Pisano Jr. did the Spiritual Society.
Nice.
Some of the cards in the set are mixers left over from the AEG era. Some of the stuff that was unreleased. To give an example of that is Buskers. Buskers was one of the cards for the 108 that we were able to put back into playtests since we had access to those cards. So we kind of have a mix of like things that are still in Gamora. We can still build on existing themes while also moving us to Tombstone. So to show you one of the cards that the example for the theme, we did the I'm Your Huckleberry card.
I'm Your Huckleberry.
So Doc Holliday in Deadlands is a spellcaster. So the idea was he's about to cast Drawn Down at a poker game. So that was the idea for the art. And it has a powerful cheating resolution, kind of like the Coach Whip that we showed you. This one allows you to steal a dude. So that was the theme of, for the Huckleberry
That's kind of cool.
So one of the cards to show you how we're also integrating history with the ERPs, which is still has a weird West element to it. So you'll notice like Doc Holliday's gun in the art has runes on it because he's a hex slinger. So, we wanted to tie that into it. One of the new cards for anybody watching that is a fan of the game, I think we kind of put out that we were going to do spoilers because not all of this we've shown yet.
Sure.
So to go back to one of Brent Chumley's art, the Camel and Hatch Billiard Parlor, which anybody knows from history, which is not what happens in Deadlands.
Right.
You guys will find that out in upcoming fiction as we use a lot of that for Doomtown.
Okay.
Campbell and Hatch Billiard Parlor is where, in history, Morgan Earp was shot in the back. So the art is the Earp brothers playing at the billiard hall.
That's nice.
It's a public casino. As we played, it's worth a control point on 2. And it has a pretty good ability. It has a controller react boot after posses are formed. So you would do this after, like, you chose your side and I chose mine. For the remainder of the shootout, hand ranks cannot be modified by shootout react or non-cheat and resolution abilities. For instance, there's cards that manipulate those hand ranks, and you wouldn't be able to do that. It says dudes cannot be discarded or aced by shootout or non-cheat and resolution abilities during the first round. So that point blank card you had, I'm not sure if we got to show it, it aces a guy. That wouldn't be able to be used the first round of the fight.
Okay.
Shotgun's another card that does that.
Okay.
To show you one of each type to give you an example, Virginia Ann Arp we put in. She's one of the drifter characters like Ramiro. She has a very similar. Oh, there we go. Has a very similar ability to the billiard parlor.
Okay.
Which says if she's in the shootout, hand ranks can't be modified by shootout react or non-shoot resolution abilities. It's things we wanted to put in the game as kind of meta counters.
Sure.
So if someone's playing, like there's a card called Force Field, it helps you kind of counter that if you're having difficulty with that.
Okay.
To go into hearts, we'll do a miracle since.
Yeah, we haven't seen one of those.
We haven't seen one of those, and you were talking about the
preacher.
Your preacher. So what do we have? Retribution. That's a good one. Retribution is 6 of hearts. There we go. Got it? Okay. It is a shootout miracle. It has a cost of X. You boot the miracle and choose an opposing dude. X is that dude's value. So, like, when we showed Tommy Harden's a 3 of spades, that's their value. If that dude's controller reveals a cheating hand this round, and you reveal a legal hand, ace that dude. This acing effect cannot be prevented. So you're basically telling your opponent,
you're Huckleberry.
You're not cheating.
Yeah. I'm faster than you.
Yes. So what we do? We did a heart, a club, a deed, and a spade, right? Or did I show you? Oh, we did show I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
One of the things we did at Worlds was try to integrate the story. So like Murdered in Tombstone, we did because people that were attending Worlds got to vote on characters that lived or died in the fiction. And this was a card we had out to kind of represent this is the headline for that happening.
Okay.
So we want to, and that's something that we want to do with a little more events with the fiction as well. Like upcoming in Gen Con on Friday, we have an event where it's a little bit of a variant on the game where you can't use dead characters from the fiction.
Oh, wow.
So your spades in the deck can't be anyone that's been dead.
Yeah.
And the Dead Man's Hand card type, we have a few more options for it because in history, no one really knows the 5th card Wild Bill had. So it's kind of a nod to that.
Sure.
And then we've got an element of it. We're going to have a guest player that every round, whoever plays that player gets to name a card that's going to be in the fiction.
Oh, wow.
So you don't even have to, it's one of those we're trying to make it where, you don't have to be good at the game. Show up, and if you end up playing this guy, you can affect the story.
That's cool.
We did that at PAX Unplugged, actually. We had we did it every round, and the very last round, the final table, which is ranking-wise hadn't done as well as the other tables, they're the ones that get to choose. So it gives an incentive to stick around. Hey, even if you're not doing great, the idea is to come play the game. It's not, we have a winning prize for people that want to be competitive. Like, for instance, this weekend they get to name the card, but we want to bring other things to the table to say, hey, you play this game at home, come out and join other people. You don't have to be the best at the game.
Right.
It's about community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's one of our big things that we like to preach to is community. Go to your local game store.
Right.
And
please
play there, buy there. Have fun in your local community.
And we want to do more of the role playing too at the cons, where basically to say, hey, you play Doomtown, join in on Deadlands as well, and you can play the Doomtown characters, and that's something we.
Story, so you can do. You get more.
We did that at our World Championship event, so the players got to play Wendy and Lucy and kind of go through the story of in Deadlands. There's a famous ranger. I'm not sure I think we did show the Ranger's Bible online, but I'll show that out as an example with the story. The idea behind this card is that we took a story from a book called Stone in a Hard Place.
Okay.
It's one of the Deadlands books that is a plot point book that goes into Tombstone.
Okay.
And Ranger Hank Ketchum, I don't mean to spoil it for people, but he doesn't survive very long through it. And this is a reference to someone finding the Ranger's Bible.
Nice.
Which what we did at Worlds, it was Wendy and Lucy were sent by Virgil Earp to try and find Hank Ketchum. And instead found that he was killed by one of the major villains that is going to be a recurring theme in our fiction.
Nice. Very cool.
So, yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a lot of information on the whole world.
Right,
that's
what we're trying to do.
It's really exciting what they're doing.
Absolutely.
While I have the page open, because I'm sure people are going to ask at home, this is one of the gadgets, since we didn't get into it, which is the analytical cognitizer. The art is from Classic, and it is a gadget that after you invent this gadget, you unboot the Mad Scientist and draw a card.
Right.
We didn't get into that part, but when you invent a gadget, you have to boot your Mad Scientist.
Okay.
And you make a pull. If you take the value of the pull, plus their mad science rating, and you have to make the difficulty, and that's how you invent it.
Nice.
It has a react boot after making a pull for a gadget. At this or an adjacent location, discard a goods card from your play hand to make the suit hearts. We have a few cards that go off of the different values.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, there's a lot in the game that we love about it. It's why we wanted to continue it. There's a lot of stories still to be told. So we hope people will, if you weren't into Doomtown in the past, you can jump right back into it. And if you're new to it, there's plenty of opportunity to catch up.
And there's a lot to be immersed into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
very cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
Just even for the story alone, it's
I love it.
really cool.
Very cool. Well, thank you, David, Christine. Thank you for coming in and showing us this. We also like to say thank you to Carolina Game Tables for allowing us to use the beautiful streamer table you see here all weekend long. If you want to find out more about Carolina Game Tables, you can Google Carolina Game Tables or just go to their website, carolinagametable.com. It's very cool. And what's your guys' web address again?
Pineboxentertainment.com.
Pineboxentertainment.com.
Let me make sure I didn't. I'm not messing that up on here because it's www.pineboxentertainment.com.
Perfect.
And the Pinnacle site is peg.com.
peg.com. Perfect.
The reason I say it is the forum address is slightly different.
Right.
But you can get to that from the main address. And since I'm primarily on the forums, that's the URL.
That's where you live?
Mainly, yeah.
Okay.
I help the rules team on there. We have a coordinated team on a Slack chat that when someone posts a question, we can kind of talk about it and present the response to the community.
Perfect. Also, go to gtmgiveaway.com and you can enter to win a chance to win a huge mystery prize box of different games and accessories from GTM and all of our friends. So check that out. Leona likes when I do that. I'm trying to keep it still. She's trying to just focus on it right there. Yeah. You can go to gtmgiveaway.com and check it out. We appreciate it. All right. On that note, everybody, have a wonderful evening. We'll be back tomorrow live from Origins with lots more awesome stuff. I'm Rick. I'll see you at the game store.